In lesson 5, we're going to talk a little bit about writing and solving expressions. It's going to kind of combine two of the lessons that we've done in the past. One being filling out a table and then finding the relationship between the two columns, being able to write an expression and solve it. The first example says Greg has two more dollars than his brother Jeff. Use the table below to write an expression for the amount of money that Greg has. So first I'm going to do some examples in the table. And it doesn't really matter what we start with, but if we say that, if Jeff has $1, Greg has to have two more than that. So he would have $3. If Jeff has $2, then Greg would have to have $4. Right? It has to be two more than his brother Jeff. If Jeff had $8, Greg would have to have two more than that. So he would have to have 10. Let's just say if he had $10, he would have to have 12. Okay, so we're getting the idea on our table that there's a pattern that Greg always has to be Jeff plus two more. So whatever Jeff has, you have to add 2 to get to Greg. Okay, so if I want to write an expression for the amount of money that Greg has Jeff's plus 2. So whatever Jeff has, I'd have to add 2, and that would give me what Greg has. So if I had an example, if I said that Jeff has 15, then I could plug it into my equation. I could replace the letter with a number, which we did a couple lessons ago. Instead of J, I could then put 15 plus 2, and I could find that Greg has 17. Okay, so when we can write that expression, then once we're given the information, we can plug it in and solve it. So my expression would be J plus 2. In this next example, this time it still says Greg has two more dollars than his brother Jeff. We can use the table with the expression to write how much money Jeff has this time. So again, if Jeff had 2, Greg would have 2 more, that would be 4. If Jeff has 3, then Greg has 2 more, he has 5. Okay, what if Greg has 6? How much money would Jeff have? So this time I'm going this way on the table. 6 minus 2 would give me 4. Jeff would have 4. If Greg had 10, that's 2 more than Jeff, so Jeff would have to have 8. So if you're given what Greg has this time, you want to know what Jeff has. So Jeff has to have, so I'm going from Greg to Jeff. Jeff has to have Greg minus 2 to get to Jeff. So the expression for Jeff would be G minus 2, whatever Greg has minus 2. And it's great when we can write that expression, because then when we're given what G is equal to, say G is equal to, he has $100. Then you can replace the letter with a number. So instead of G, I could put 100 minus 2, and I could find out that Jeff has $98. But it's really great when you have that expression, because then once you figure out what they have, you can answer the question. The last example, it says Abby reads 8 more books than Kristen in the first marking period. Write an expression for the number of books that Abby reads. So if we have A for Abby and K for Kristen, okay, I can start plugging in. Abby has to read 8 more than Kristen. So if Kristen has 1, Abby has to be 8 more than that. So that would be 9. If Kristen has 2, Abby has to be 8 more than that. So that would be 10. If Kristen has 10, 8 more than that would be 18. What if Kristen read 20? 8 more than that would be 28. Okay, so if I want an expression for how many Abby reads what compared to Kristen? How do I get to Abby from Kristen? So from Kristen to Abby, Abby would have Kristen plus 8. That's how I would get to Abby. Okay, again, if I then say, she reads 100 books. If K equals 100, you could then replace the K with a 100 and solve it for how many Abby reads, but you have to start with that expression. So we're going to practice writing those expressions today.